everybody, and welcome to my channel. My name's Lauren and I am Jersey Girl Astrology. Today I'm going to talk about the solar eclipse in Libra. So if you would like to help and support my new and up-and-coming channel, please like, subscribe, tell your friends, share the video. Any type of support would really be appreciated, especially since I'm just trying to get this off the ground. So let's talk about this eclipse. This eclipse is going to be on October 14th, right on the south node in Libra. So when you have an eclipse, okay, let's talk about what an eclipse is. A solar eclipse is like a new moon, but on steroids, okay? So a new moon in any sign, doesn't matter what it is, the concept is the same. It's like a new beginning, okay? And a regular new moon usually lasts about a month. Okay, and then the new moon in the next sign comes along, cutting off that energy, and then it's a whole cycle. Okay, eclipse is something that lasts 6 months to a year. I'm sorry if you hear my cat meowing. Anyway, an eclipse, it'll last about a year. Typically, you know how I said with regular new moons, when the next one comes along, it cuts off that energy. Typically, it'll last about a year when the next eclipse comes to cut off that energy, the next of that same one on that same node. So this one is going to be a new moon solar eclipse on the south node, so this will last until the next solar eclipse on the south node. Okay, so in Libra, it's something that has to deal with partnerships, relationships, and that doesn't always have to mean romantic, okay? I want that to get out of everybody's heads before we even start, okay? It does not necessarily always mean romantic. Usually for only 2 signs depending on what house it falls in. So if it's falling in your 5th house or your 7th house, that could mean romantic. But when I say relationships, it's anything that you have to come to a partnership with that's outside of yourself, okay? And that doesn't even have to necessarily be a person, okay? So think of it as, let me think of an example. A relationship could be business, okay? So maybe you have to get an attorney for something. Maybe you have to find a new doctor. Maybe you are looking to hire people. That's a relationship. That's kind of more 6th house coworkers, but still you have to make that connection. But you get the point. It's also justice, balance, anything that you have to come to equilibrium with another party. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a person, if that makes sense. Okay, so think, like I said, a new moon is a new beginning. So think of an eclipse as a new beginning on crack, okay? And especially with it on the south node, it's something that we have to release in order for that new beginning to come in. Let's say you're in college, okay, and you want to start taking on a new major. You have to release that old thing, okay? That's kind of like a south node. You have to release the old major for the new thing to come in. If you are looking to relocate, you have to release that old home, that old life, to start the new beginning, okay? That's the type of energy we have. We have to release something, since it's a new moon solar eclipse in Libra, that has been taking us out of balance for all this time, for that balance to come back in, okay? So, going on about that, the ruling planet of Libra is Venus. And so where is Venus right now? It's in its worst fallen sign of Virgo. Okay, so that's nothing against Virgos. That's just the fact of the matter that Venus does not like to be in Virgo. It's its worst spot. And so you have to think of that as the kind of the ruling energy. And so with Venus in Virgo, we have to kind of go in and assess our values, assess the people we have in our lives, relationships, and we have to pick it apart. We have to really scrutinize, okay, is this really what's bringing me equilibrium? If it's not, it's getting the boot. Is it making me money? Is my job balancing me the right way? Do I have good work-life balance? That type of thing. That's going to be the overarching energy. So if there's something in your day-to-day reality that is not so balancing for you, that's kind of like bringing the scales down this way, then that's what's going to be released with that south node so that the new thing can come in. It's kind of like you have to have the space in your life for the new thing to come in. You have to clear out the old so the new can come in. Okay, so that is that. And then also with this, we also have Mercury opposing Chiron. So Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. Right now, Mercury is going to be with the sun and the moon during this eclipse, and it's going to make a direct opposition to Chiron retrograde in Aries. So there might be a lot of mental processes and conversations with people close to you about how something isn't looking the way you want it to look in your life. So there might be some things where you have to collaborate with other people, and other people might be helping you rebalance these things. So that's another thing with Libra. I feel that it's about asking for help too, because Aries about the self. Aries doesn't like to ask for help, but when it comes to the opposite sign of Libra, so this might be an eclipse where you might actually ask somebody for help on something, especially with Mercury opposing Chiron. You're seeing what isn't adding up. You're seeing how it's not balancing out. So you might have to look outside of yourself for that help to come in. Okay, does that make sense? So when it comes to manifesting, it's a popular thing to do a manifestation ritual around full moons and new moons. And those happen every month, so it's common to see that because it's like something small that's going to come in, and depending on what house it falls in, it's easier to manifest it. But when it comes to eclipses, like I was saying before, they're on steroids. So when it comes to manifesting, you have to really be careful what you ask for. I'm not going to tell you not manifest. I'm not going to say don't put your moon water out. I'm not going to tell you not to do something, but I am going to give a disclaimer. Be careful what you wish for. And that's with any eclipse. When you have a new moon solar eclipse, that new thing will come in that you want to manifest, but it's probably going to take out a lot with it. Okay, so that's what I mean when it comes to be careful what you wish for, because you will get it, but you might have to say goodbye to a lot of other drastic things. So I would say if, it's not meant to scare you, but maybe if you're just starting to get into the habit of manifesting, just take notice over the next 6 months what falls away naturally and what comes in naturally, okay? Because this is something where the universe is going to manifest it for you. It knows already what you need in your life and what's coming, so you really don't have to do any work. It's one of those things where surrender, especially around lunar eclipses, because they're ending. So it's one of those types of things, eclipses in general, solar or lunar, just release, surrender, and let what's supposed to come to you happen naturally, okay? So now let's talk about what each sign is going to experience with this eclipse. It could be your rising, your moon, or your sun. Typically, some astrologers say look at your rising sign, some say look at your sun sign. I say pay attention to both. Okay, so if you're an Aries sun or rising, this has to do with relationships, harmony, everything that has to do with 7th house Libra stuff. So you might have to release some old relationship of any type for a new one to come in, anything like that. You might be getting a new relationship coming in it might be a thing where one comes in and you have to push something else out. So you'll find out once the eclipse comes. If you're a Taurus, it has to do with work, service to the collective and the community, health, diet. So you might be getting on a new health regimen. You might start a new workout plan. You might get a new job or start a new responsibility at work. If you're a Gemini, this has to do with dating, romance, children, if you have children, hobbies, passion projects. This might be a good time for a brand new passion project to come in, especially if you like to create new things. If you're creative, this is a great time. You don't have to manifest it necessarily. It'll just naturally come to you. If you're a Cancer, this is all fourth house, home, family matters, personal life, emotions. So this might be an extra emotional eclipse for you. This is all your type of energy, fourth house. This has to do with the mother. So all things that are super close and personal to you. If you're a Leo, this is routine, communication, learning. If you're like taking classes or you're learning a new skill, this could mean that something is coming in where you're going to learn something new. If you're a Virgo, this is liquid assets, like money that you could pull out of the bank very quickly, income streams, value, skills. So there might be a new income stream that comes in that you have to stop doing, like a different job or just something where you have to work with your hands. That's also second house stuff. So maybe you'll start creating something new with your hands coming soon. Libra, this is all you. This is self, direction. This is your identity. You might start to identify something completely different. That is independent of another person. This is all completely within yourself. If you're a Scorpio, it's connection to the divine, all 12th house things, hidden enemies, spirituality. So this might be an eclipse where someone you thought was on your side may not actually be on your side. That hidden enemy is going to come to the surface. A lot of things that are swept under the rug are going to come to the surface. If you're a Sagittarius, this is 11th house of friends, networks, groups. This might be an eclipse where you have a falling out with a friend or a group of friends. You might find a new group of friends doing something completely different that will help you get towards the future more. This also has to do with your future plans. So it might mean a new future plan. If you're a Capricorn, this is all 10th house stuff that you rule. So career, public image, your legacy. So this might be an eclipse where all of that shifts. You might decide you want a different career. You might want to change how you want people to remember you by. If you're an Aquarius, this has to do with travel, education, philosophy. So you might be releasing an old way of thinking. Like this is also religion. So an old thought process that you used to really identify with might now be going away for a new thing to come in. And then if you're a Pisces, this is 8th house of investments, attachments, anything that you are really energetically clinging on to. This might be an eclipse where you have to like really cut that off, or it might be a thing where something else might come in that can add to that, and also transformation. So it's all death and rebirth. So if you're any of these things, if you experience any of these things, let me know in the comments. If you're starting to feel the energy, let me know. Or in the future, you can come back to this video and let me know what ended up manifesting and if you purposely manifested it or not. All right, let me know. Thank you for joining me. I can't wait to see you next time.